Alright, hey guys, my SkiStam, and welcome to another video, and today I will talk about the new video mode that has gotten released in the crew yesterday, the 20th. So I'm going to walk you through all the things in this video mode to give you a good idea of what it's like to make it easier when you start using it. So how you get into this video mode, so you first go into your in-game smartphone and then you can see the video mode right there. So first, when you get into the video mode, you will be presented with this camera angle, and you will be able to freely drive around anywhere you want, but you will be stuck with this camera. So to actually change the camera angle, you can press the left thumbstick button, and then you will basically be able to move the camera around just like in the camera mode. Yeah, all the controls are on the right hand side if you're new to it, but it shouldn't be too hard. And then to lock the camera again and you drive again, you just press the left thumbstick button again, and you will be able to drive around like that. Now there's actually three camera modes. The one that you start with is the custom camera mode, and it's basically a locked camera. We'll go over the other two camera modes in a second. Now, just like the camera mode, this video mode has a bunch of settings like being able to change the weather and car damage and so on. So the way you do that is you press A, and when you press A you toggle the UI as it says. So if you press that, that will be revealed. So the first tab is called aiming. So the first thing you'll see is the camera modes. Now you can change the camera modes by pressing the start button as well, but you can also change it in here. The first one that I showed you was the custom one, where you can have a locked camera. The next one is expert mode, and so when driving with the expert mode, it will look like this. So as you can see, the camera follows your car, but it's not completely locked. When you change directions, the camera will very slowly also change directions to where it looks in the same direction that you're driving towards. Now we'll do this in very smooth motions. So this way you can get a moving camera that films you as you're driving. So you can do this just as a single person, which is very helpful. So the next camera mode is called Focus on Vehicle. This camera always looks in the same direction, so no matter how the car is pointing, the camera will always look at the same direction, and it always has the car centered. Now you can also move the camera in these other two modes, the Expert mode and the Focus on Vehicle mode. You can move the cameras and the camera acts differently when you move them, but we'll go over that a bit later. So next we have zoom, very simple, just zoom in and out. That we have the tilt, basically tilts the camera, simple, and we have the grid. So then we have this feature called auto zoom, and it's kind of what you expect. It automatically zooms so that the car looks just as big, no matter how close or far away the camera is. So next feature we have is the focus distance, and this is basically a trimmed down version of the one that we have in camera mode. The camera one is the one in the camera mode is a lot more detailed, but this one is a bit easier. So the first one that you have is you can either turn it completely off. There's no there's no blur, there's no specific focus point. Everything is in focus. And then we have automatic, that basically just focuses on the thing that is on the object that is in center. And then the other ones basically is very close, which, as you can see, I have a very close-up shot of this on this street light. And then we have medium and so on. It's pretty self-explanatory. Mess around with it. So now the second tab, which is called Vehicles. So first you can basically change how much dust and mud and how much vehicle damage there is. Pretty self-explanatory. And under there is a traffic option. It was grayed out for me, I don't know why, but let's just move on. So in the next tab comes the real fun, where you can change the time of day and the weather, which is also very self-explanatory, so let's move on. And then the next tab, you can change the exposure and brightness and saturations to whatever you like. And let's just go to the next tab, which is post effects, which is where you can change the filter. So you can have no filter, black and white, sepia, sunburn, yellow tint, blue tint, and that's those. So we have a bit of a sub feature to the filters, which is filter strength, which is just like in Need for Speed, where you can change the opacity of the filter. So if you don't want it to be completely black and white, you still want a little bit of color in there, you can have that, and so on. You can do the same with other filters, which is a very cool feature, so that's nice. And then we have Vignette, which looks like this. Nothing weird about that. And then we have the logos, which basically you can put the crew logo. There's a few to choose from, and then there's a sub feature where you can change the position. And then we also have the gamer tag, which you can change to black and white, which shows your own name. And you can change it to black and white, and you can change the position and how big it's supposed to be. So yes, that's all you have in that menu. So now let's go back to the cameras. So I'll show you a little bit about how the camera modes, when you actually control the camera, it actually acts differently in the different camera modes. So I will show you a little bit about that now. So in expert mode, basically the car is always in center. You can't move the camera completely freely around. The camera, your car is always in center. So if you, for an example, use the triggers to go up and down, the camera will angle itself so that it still looks at the car, which is completely different from the custom mode, where you can put the camera wherever you want and you can look at whatever you want. Also, a feature that you have with the expert camera is that you can increase and decrease the speed of the camera. So for example, you can, if you decrease the speed, it will be a lot easier to get these really slow and cinematic shots, which is a very good feature for video. Now this feature is only available in the expert mode. So now to the focus on vehicle mode, which is almost completely the same, except when you move the camera up and down with the triggers, the car will not still be in center. The camera will just go up. It won't like look down as you're going up as in the expert mode, which is the only feature, which is the only difference that I could see differently. And so when you are in the air, it will look like this when you move the right thumbstick up and down. So yes, so I think that's pretty much it for the new video mode. It's a very good tool for video making. Now this video was only just to make it easier when you get into this for the first time, just so that you have a good idea of what it's like, as I said in the beginning. So I hope that this video have helped in some way. Now obviously the best way to get good at using this video mode is just to play around with it as much as you can, and you know, these controls in the camera modes might be pretty confusing, but just play around with them and you will get used to them. If you have any questions, then you can leave them in the comments. But yes, so if you enjoyed this video, then you can leave a like, show that you liked it, and you can subscribe to see more of my videos. And yes, my name is SkiStam. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.